am so sorry that this message is coming to you later this week than it usually does. I guess the long weekend threw me off, or maybe my kid's first full week back to school. You don't need my excuses. Suffice it to say that I forgot to update your weekly announcement, and that causes confusion, I know, because of the course content and the way it's set up. So I'm going to drag you into the course content for just a moment and show you just sort of the lay of the land a little bit. We are right here. We just finished the thesis worksheet last week. And what I like to do is go by the syllabus because it shows a little bit more. It's easier for me to follow, but I'm going to go here because I know that you then, after you go to the syllabus, you come over into course content. I want it to make sense for you. Before I get ahead of myself, I hope you had a great holiday weekend. I know some of you probably had to work through it, but hopefully you had a little bit of change of pace and were able to get out in the sunshine a bit. Okay, that said, let's go ahead and look at what we're doing for this week. I'm going to open up this piece right here, and this is our big assignment of the week. It's actually not much that you're actually doing this week in terms of putting out writing. That's going to come next week, but we are creating the building blocks now for our writing for our very first paper that we're going to be working on next week. So what is this all about this week? The big bulk of the work is doing the reading, and I'm going to show you that in a second, but I want to explain to you why I built the course content the way I did. For some of you, it's going to be maybe too much writing, but at the time that I wrote the content, I was very concerned about students not getting enough instruction because it's of the nature of online courses. So bear with me, and I think it should help. If you look at this, you'll see that this is going to be a similar outline that you see in every course, or every week. There's going to be a pattern. Every unit, I should say, there's going to be a pattern. There's going to be readings, discussion board, writing, editing, publishing, and publishing means turning it in. And in that mix, before the actual writing and publishing, writing, editing, and publishing, we're going to have also a week or an assignment that is sort of a development assignment. So like this week we did a thesis statement worksheet. Next unit we'll do something else that just sort of helps to sharpen the tools that we're using for writing. Okay, so this looks like the same thing as I showed you before, but this is important. This is the writing process. And in pre-writing, we first of all need to know what we're going to be writing for. I use a very general prompt. Here is the prompt. I'm going to give you a second to look over it. I'm going to highlight a few things. You are only using essays from this unit. You're going to be only citing one essay from this unit. If you need to cite more, you may, but make sure they're readings from this unit. This is how I quote unquote test that you've done the reading. You're going to choose one of the readings. From that reading, you're going to construct a 3 to 4 page essay with a single statement that is a thesis statement. So no multiple arguments. Needs to be something you can put into one thesis statement. You're going to briefly summarize the article and respond to the author's ideas with your own thoughts. You can agree with the author, disagree, or respond somewhere in between, and you can set it up several different ways. You could block summarize, where you take like a point and then you do a counterpoint or an and point, or you can summarize all of it and then add your thoughts. But I do want a balance between summary and response. No huge long summary with with very tiny responses. I want equal coverage, okay? I'm also going to ask that you give one direct quote in your summary. It says response, but you know what I'm saying. In your paper, I want at least one quote. If you use more, that's okay. Don't overquote your author rather, but do use one. This will be an MLA setup paper. I do ask that you check out your Erin text for how to set up a composition using the proper heading, page numbering, margins, spacing, and all that jazz. Okay, so I actually just kind of walk through how to break down the prompt, and this gives you, if you're needing more about how to get started on this paper, this is where you'll find it, and I do recommend that you read this before actually doing the readings for the course. So you're looking through this stuff, and then what we're going to eventually do, or as we're reading, we're actually thinking like writers. So as you read, you want to think about what the author is thinking about and also what you think about what the author thinks. This is all explained here. So do read through that. And then the only written part of this is to respond to 3 articles and 2 classmates. Copy your interactions into a document and turn it into me. Okay, we're going to review this as we look at the syllabus next, so you can kind of see it in a different view. There it is. Okay, so if I run down through, by the way, you don't need this rubric yet, but just a reminder that it's there next week when you start writing. We're just doing our discussion board this week. This is like the in-course discussion, okay? These right here, the Aaron text is just resources, as is the Hirschberg text 6 through 7. Those are all how to write summary responses. And then in the Hirschberger text, all of these items, the Bryson, Lurie, Coffer, Grandin, Huxley, and Reichel, are all articles that you can choose, that you'll be reading. You're going to choose to respond to 3 of those this week, and in the following week you're going to narrow it down to 1. What you're trying to do as you use the discussion board tool this week is you're trying to generate conversation. I don't want simply a summary of the article. You can start there, but have a jumping off point. What do you think about it? What surprised you? What do you wonder about? What do you wish the author would have told more about? What do you think the author was effective in explaining? And then when you respond to one another, listen to what your classmates are saying about these readings and see what you agree with where you agree with them and where you don't, and add your own 2 cents in reaction to that article. Okay, so we're basically doing just a really great academic discussion. And what this is doing, again, looking back at that course content, this is your pre-writing. This is laying the foundation for what you're going to be doing next week. It's a lot to take in. Take a deep breath, read through the course materials, and of course, as always, let me know if you have any questions. Remember this week to read closely. Read like a writer. In other words, think in terms of how that writer might be thinking, what choices he or she is making, and what her argument or his argument is as they write. And each author has a slightly different style. Analyze that too if you wish. All in all, we're going to just enjoy kind of digesting and chewing on all of these different ideas. We're going to add our own ideas, and next week we're going to have lots of groundwork laid for writing our first paper for the course. Take care.